Welcome to this exploration of Carl Jung's profound insights on achieving success while staying true to yourself. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Carl Jung. Let us be honest. The world is loud. Everyone is telling you how to live, what to chase, and who to become. Success today is measured by numbers, by followers, by trophies you can show off. But Carl Jung's work reminds us that real success is not something you perform for others. It is something you build from the inside out. If you follow the crowd for too long, you risk becoming a stranger to yourself. You might end up with all the right boxes checked, yet still feel like something is missing. That missing piece is usually the part of you that got buried in the process. Your voice, your curiosity, your shadow, your truth. You cannot succeed fully if you are only living half a life. And you cannot live a full life if you are constantly running from who you really are. Jung believed that wholeness was more important than perfection. He did not care if a person was impressive on paper. He cared whether they were awake to their own mind, their own patterns, their own calling. So as you move forward, ask yourself one question. Am I building a life that fits me, or one that just looks good from the outside? Because real success is not about looking perfect. It is about knowing yourself deeply, walking your path honestly, and staying connected to what matters, even when the world tries to pull you away from it. In this guide, we are going to explore 9 powerful ways to succeed without losing your soul. The goal is not perfection. The goal is becoming real. And that starts with the courage to look within. Number 1. Confront your shadow, or it will run your life. This is not just a deep-sounding quote. It is a warning. One that Carl Jung, a pioneer of psychology, gave to anyone trying to live an honest and meaningful life. And it is more relevant now than ever. Your shadow is the side of you that you hide. It is made of the thoughts you are afraid to admit, the feelings you try to push away, the urges you bury, and the parts of your past you pretend never happened. Most people think that ignoring all of that makes them better, cleaner, more positive. But here's the truth. Pushing it down does not erase it. It only buries it where you can't see it. And that is when it starts controlling you. You might think you're in charge of your life, but if you never confront your shadow, it will show up in your anger, in your jealousy, in the way you self-sabotage. It will leak out in your relationships, in your bad habits, and in your endless need to prove something. You cannot succeed if you are at war with yourself. That fake version of you that you try to protect will crack under pressure. You need all of you, the strong parts, the scared parts, the proud parts, and yes, even the shameful ones. Integration is the goal. That means looking at yourself honestly. No filters, no pretending. This is not about turning darkness into light. It is about learning to live with the full picture of who you are. When you do that, you stop living in fear. You stop being reactive. You become grounded, dangerous in the best way, clear and unshakable. Confronting your shadow is not easy. It will hurt. But so does living a lie. And only one of those paths leads to freedom. Number 2. Stop trying to be good and aim to be whole. Let that sink in for a moment. We spend so much time trying to be seen as good people, good friends, good sons, good citizens. We avoid conflict, hide our anger, smile when we feel like screaming, and agree when we actually don't. Why? Because we want to be liked, we want to be accepted, we want people to say, he's one of the good ones. But here's the truth, nobody says out loud. Chasing goodness like that will leave you hollow. Carl Jung knew this. He said the real goal is not to be good. It is to be whole. Being good, in the way society expects, often means cutting parts of yourself off. It means pretending you don't feel certain things, hiding your opinions, swallowing your truth. And at first, people might love you for it. They might praise you, promote you, pat you on the back. But inside, you'll feel it. That quiet sense that you're becoming less you. Wholeness means bringing every part of you to the table. The calm and the chaos. The kindness and the rage, the love and the fear. It means knowing who you are behind closed doors and still choosing to face that truth without shame. You are not a brand. You are not a product, you are a full human being with depth, contradiction, and complexity. That is not weakness, that is power. People who are whole don't need to fake virtue. They live with purpose. They are not easily shaken because they know who they are. They do not need applause to feel real, so stop chasing approval. Let go of trying to fit into boxes that were never meant for you. Be real, be honest, be complete. That is the only kind of success that does not fall apart when no one's watching. Number 3, learn to suffer consciously. It sounds harsh, maybe even unfair, but it's one of the most honest truths you will ever hear. You will suffer. Life will hit you. It will test you, confuse you, break your plans, and at times break your heart. Pretending otherwise is not optimism, it is denial. And denial only makes the pain worse when it finally arrives. Most people try to run from suffering. They numb it with distractions, drown it in alcohol, hide behind humor, or scroll through their phones until the feeling fades. But it never really fades. It waits. It waits until you are alone, until things are quiet, and then it returns even heavier than before. Carl Jung believed that suffering is not the enemy. It is the doorway. The key is to suffer consciously. That means you face it. You let it teach you. You sit with the pain instead of running from it. You ask it why it is there, what it is trying to show you, because pain, when faced with courage, turns into wisdom. Suffering can break you, yes, but it can also shape you. It can make you deeper, sharper, more self-aware. It can burn away your ego and show you who you really are. You do not grow by avoiding the fire. You grow by walking through it and coming out on the other side with something real. This does not mean you enjoy pain. It means you stop wasting it. You stop pretending to be fine and you start using what hurts as fuel. Because those who suffer consciously gain something no one can take from them: depth, resilience, clarity. So when life gets dark, don't just try to escape. Lean in, breathe through it, learn from it, let it carve you into someone you can respect. That is how suffering stops being the end of your story and becomes the reason you rise. Number 4. The unlived life will sabotage the one you're trying to live. This is not poetry. It is a psychological reality. Carl Jung knew this well. When you ignore the parts of yourself that want more, that want different, that want truth, they don't just disappear. They wait. Quietly, patiently. And then, when you least expect it, they erupt. And often in destructive ways. You might be doing everything right. You have the stable job, the good reputation, the partner your family approves of. From the outside, it looks like success. But inside, something feels off. A restlessness, a heaviness, a quiet voice asking, "Is this it?" That voice is not the enemy. That is the part of you buried when you chose comfort over passion, silence over honesty, or fear over freedom. Maybe you wanted to be an artist, but you became an accountant. Maybe you loved someone deeply, but you married someone safe. Maybe you had questions about who you really are, but you shoved them down to avoid judgment. The world clapped, but your soul did not. And the cost? Depression that won't go away. A short temper. Cheating, drinking, quitting things for no clear reason. These are not random problems. They are the symptoms of an unlived life. You do not escape your truth by ignoring it. You just delay it. And the longer it stays buried, the louder it returns. Living fully means listening to those buried desires before they turn into chaos. It means facing discomfort now so you do not live with regret later. It means being honest about what you want, even if it threatens the version of you others are comfortable with. Live fully or live haunted. That is the choice. One brings struggle, but also meaning. The other brings safety, but at the cost of your soul. Number 5. Make peace with mediocrity in areas that don't matter to your soul. This might sound like giving up, but it is the opposite. It is how you protect your energy, your focus, and your sanity in a world that wants you to be great at everything, all the time. Here is the truth. You will not be excellent at everything. You were not designed for that. And chasing excellence in things that do not actually matter to you is one of the fastest ways to feel burned out, bitter, and quietly lost. So many people spend years trying to master things that have nothing to do with their purpose. They want to have the perfect body, the cleanest apartment, the most impressive career, the most likable personality, the trendiest clothes. They do it to be admired, or worse, to be accepted by people who would not notice if they disappeared tomorrow. Carl Jung believed in wholeness, not perfection, and part of becoming whole is learning what to drop. You do not need to win in every category. If cooking is not your thing, be average at it. If you do not care about climbing the corporate ladder, let others race while you build something you believe in. The key is knowing what your soul truly cares about. The things that give you life, the things that feel natural, the things that move you, that is where your energy should go. That is where greatness can grow. Everything else, let it be average. Let it be good enough. Trying to be everything will drain you until you feel like nothing. You are not lazy for letting go of what does not serve you. You are wise. Focus on what matters. Be unapologetically great where it counts. And let the rest be background noise. You were not put here to impress everyone. You were put here to become someone real. Number 6. Real success often looks like failure from the outside. You can be winning and still look like you are losing to everyone else. That is the strange truth no one talks about. Because when you choose to be real, to follow your own path instead of copying what others expect, it rarely comes with a round of applause. In fact, it often looks like a mistake. You might leave a high-paying job to start something small. People will call you crazy. You might walk away from a relationship that looks perfect on the outside but feels wrong inside. People will gossip. You might stop chasing clout, stop trying to please everyone, and finally say what you really think. And suddenly people will fall away. That is the price of authenticity. You will lose the fake stuff first. The fake smiles, the fake praise, the fake safety. It hurts. It is lonely at first, but what you gain is something most people never find. You gain yourself. Carl Jung knew that the soul cannot breathe under a mask. You can wear the perfect life and still feel empty. You can win by the world's standards and still feel like you are disappearing. That is not success. That is performance. Real success is not about how it looks. It is about how it feels when you are alone at night. It is about waking up and knowing you did not sell out your values for approval. You did not trade your voice for silence. So let them think you are failing. Let them misunderstand you. That is the cost of being real. And most people are too scared to pay it. But if you do, if you hold your ground and keep walking your path, something wild happens. The right people start to notice, and more importantly, you start to feel alive again. That is the kind of success no one can take from you. Number 7. Beware of becoming what you pretend to be. It starts small. You smile when you don't feel like it. You say yes when you want to say no. You act confident even though you are unsure. At first it feels harmless, even necessary. Society rewards those who look the part, who fit the image, who keep things polished and polite. But Carl Jung had a warning. He called it the persona, the mask we wear to face the world. And he made something very clear. The danger is not in wearing the mask. The danger is forgetting it's a mask at all. When you fake it for too long, you don't just fool others. You begin to fool yourself. You become your role, the achiever, the peacemaker, the tough guy, the always happy one. And your real self gets pushed further and further into the background. Over time, the mask fuses with your identity. Then you wake up one day and realize you do not know who you are without it. Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And he was right, because being real is risky. It means showing the parts you have been taught to hide. It means being vulnerable, uncertain, and sometimes unpopular. But it also means being free. Pretending might bring short-term approval. It might even bring success. But it also brings anxiety, disconnection, and a quiet sense of being fake. You cannot build peace on performance. You cannot build meaning on lies. So check yourself. Ask who you are when no one is watching. Ask who you would be if the pressure to impress disappeared. Then, step toward that version, slowly, truthfully, fully. Because pretending is a prison, and only the real you can walk free. Number 8. Do not outsource meaning. One of the most dangerous things you can do in life is let someone else tell you what your purpose is. Whether it is a religion, a political belief, a job title, or some lifestyle trend. If you adopt it without doing the deep work of asking what actually matters to me, you are not living. You are just acting out a script that was handed to you. Carl Jung understood this well. He once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But you cannot become who you are if you never stop to ask yourself what you believe, what you value, what kind of life feels true. Many people jump into systems that give them ready-made answers. They like the structure, the rules, the clear lines between right and wrong. But they never wrestle with the hard questions themselves. They never sit with doubt. They never explore their own thoughts. And because of that, their identity is borrowed. Their meaning is second-hand. When life hits hard, and it will, that borrowed meaning will not hold. The job might vanish. The belief system might get shaken. The approval might fade. And then what? You are left empty because you never built anything of your own. This does not mean you should reject all systems or traditions. But it does mean you need to arrive at them through your own process, through your own questions. You have to go into the dark corners of your own mind and figure out what lights you up and what breaks you down, what you can live with, what you cannot, what you believe in, not because you were told, but because you looked life in the eye and decided for yourself. Meaning is not something you download. It is something you create. So stop copying someone else's path. Start carving your own. Number 9. Burn your script before the world hands you theirs. From the moment you take your first breath, you start carrying a story that someone else wrote for you. It's a script made up of expectations, rules, and ideas about who you should be, from your family, your culture, your teachers, and society at large. Most people never question it. They follow it blindly, thinking it is their own. But this story is not you. It is a mask, a cage, and sometimes a lie. Carl Jung warned about this. He said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." You have to wake up to realize the script you've been handed might not fit your soul. If you never do, you will spend your life playing a role, performing for a crowd that doesn't truly see you. Unlearning what you've been taught is hard work. It means questioning beliefs you took for granted. It means rejecting values you grew up with because they don't feel real to you. It means facing fears about who you might be without those familiar labels and comforts. But here's the thing. If you don't burn the old script, the world will write a new one for you. One that's even harder to escape. One that traps you in patterns of pleasing, conforming, and surviving without living. True freedom comes when you tear up the pages of that inherited story and start writing your own. When you live by your own values, your own desires, your own truth. You might stumble, you might face judgment, you might feel lost, but that is the price of a life truly lived. So burn the script. Don't wait for the world to give you one. Write your own story, one honest, wild, imperfect chapter at a time. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Carl Jung. If you want to succeed in life without losing yourself, you must first understand how easy it is to get lost. Not physically, but psychologically. From a young age, you are trained to fit in, to follow rules, to earn approval. You are told what a successful life should look like. Go to school, get a job, build a family, stay in line. And if you follow the script well enough, people will call you successful. But inside, you may feel disconnected, numb, or even empty. Carl Jung spent his life studying the human psyche, and one of his biggest insights was that many people confuse the mask they wear for their real self. He called this mask the persona. It helps you function in society, but it is not your true identity. The danger is when you start believing that the role you play is who you are. That is when the real damage begins. True success, in Jung's view, comes from integrating all parts of yourself. Not just the polished version the world sees, but also the parts you hide, fear, or don't fully understand. The parts that feel uncomfortable. This is not self-help fluff. This is deep psychology. If you want to build a meaningful life, you must face yourself fully. That means making peace with your values, your fears, and your truth. It is not about escaping society. It is about not letting society erase who you are. Thank you for joining this exploration of Carl Jung's wisdom. See you in our next episode.